Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check the video out. Always appreciate that. And guys, today we're going to have a good conversation. This is going to be something that's going to really help you out. We're going to talk about slip sinker color, the color of your slip sinker and how it affects how many bites that you get, if it affects it at all. But I've got some pretty strong opinions on this that I've formed over using different colors of slip sinkers for, decades now. So we're going to discuss that in today's video. Also, guys, just a quick reminder, anyone out there interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, you can do that by just going to my Facebook page, Randy Blockett Professional Angler, and just shoot me a private message, and I can give you all the details about that. So much appreciated there. Okay, guys, one of the things that I have tried to do, you guys follow the channel, you hear me talk about this a little bit, is throughout my career as a competitive angler, I've always tried to identify little bitty subtle details that I can change that just might add up to a fish or two more a day. Because if you look at it, at the end of the season, like at the end of a tournament season, the guys that do well, the guys that finish like in the top 20% of the standings at the end of the year, they really don't catch that many more fish than the people that finish in the middle of the pack. Or, the guys that are consistently making checks, they're not catching that much more than the guys that are missing the checks. It's usually a small, subtle detail that makes the difference. So I've really tried to identify everything that I could with that. And one of those things is the slip sinker color that you're using. So here's some of the things that I have found out during my own fishing, because I have experimented extensively with slip sinker size. Since I do pitch and flip a lot, I use a lot of different types and sizes of slip sinkers. I use everything between a 60 or a 32nd ounce slip sinker all the way up to 1.5 ounces and everything in between. But I've got a couple different things that I have figured out about, what you want to do with slip sinkers. Now, first of all, guys, you can catch fish on just an unpainted lead sinker or tungsten, silver, a bright one. It's not like you can't catch fish on it, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to maximize the amount of bites that we get by little subtle things like this. And one of the reasons that I think a slip sinker color is important is you got to figure, this slip sinker, it's laying on the bottom like that with your worm attached to it. And most of the time that fish is coming down and it's studying that plastic worm or that creature bait before it actually hits it. So it may swim down there and look around at it a little bit, and it may get within an inch or so of it. So a lot of times, the color can make a big difference as far as something that maybe looks real to the fish or doesn't look real. So one of the things that I try to do, which is obvious, is I try to match, the color of my sinker to the color of the worm that I'm using under most conditions, not all conditions. And I found that there's only two colors that you need. You need a black sinker and you need either a green or a brown. It doesn't seem to matter, guys. I have experimented with both brown sinkers and green sinkers when I'm fishing some type of a natural tone, and I can't tell any difference in the bite. So here's the times that you want to use a green or a brown sinker like this. Anytime you're using like a green pumpkin worm, a watermelon type worm, a 420 color, any type of a natural color, green or brown obviously blends into that worm well. And anytime that you're using darker, black and blue, June bug, red bug, something like that, a black can be pretty good under most situations. Now, most situations would be normal water clarities of, that has decent visibility in it. Some type of visibility between, say, 1.5 feet or greater. One of the things that I have found is the cleaner the water, the more important the slip sinker color is. In other words, if you've got real clear water, say for example, you're fishing water visibility that's 5 or 6 feet, you're going to get a lot more bites on a natural color sinker in that clear water, simply because it blends a little bit better. Another thing that I have found out, here's some oddball, fun facts I found out about slip sinker color. If you try to put a brown or a green pumpkin slip sinker on a dark colored soft plastic, say for example, if you put a brown or a green slip sinker next to a black or June bug or red bug type of a color, I don't get near as many bites on it. There's something about that color variation that turns those fish off. But you can take a black sinker and you can put it on a green pumpkin worm or a watermelon worm, and it doesn't really seem to affect the bites that much if the sinker size is under 3/16 of an ounce. If it's over 3/16 of an ounce, like this right here is a half, you start to notice a decline in the amount of strikes that you get. But I've caught a ton of fish like on an 1/8 ounce black sinker on a green pumpkin Cinco. But for the most part, I'm trying to match the the color of the worm to the sinker size. Now, another thing that I have found out about it is if you're fishing sort of like some pretty off-colored water, like dirty or off-colored water where that water visibility is under like 1.5 feet in clarity, but it's still not dirty enough where you couldn't get by with like a green pumpkin, bait with a dyed orange or chartreuse tail on that. I don't like the matching slip sinker. I like to use a black slip sinker on the green pumpkin worm if that water visibility is marginal, a little bit dirtier with that. So that's just some of the things that I have found out about it. And another thing with that, sometimes I'll use like a shad colored soft plastic to flip and pitch with. Like I'll use a shad pattern crawdad. Sometimes I flip a shad grub. Sometimes I flip a swim bait sometimes into cover. And if I'm doing that, then I'll take a knife and I'll scrape the paint off of it, because I want that silver looking flash to it on the shad pattern to sort of blend with the silver sinker with the shad pattern blends a little bit more with it. But in general, guys, you really want to try to take some time and try just get you 2 colors. Get you a black one and a brown or green, it doesn't matter, and just try to match it pretty close to the worm color that you're fishing out there. And it's pretty obvious, but I see a lot of people that use black slip sinkers all the time and they don't ever use anything else. And there's a lot of different variations. You've got slip sinker colors with flake in it, you've got red slip sinkers, you've got a lot purple, a lot of different ones, but for the sake of saving money, I think you can get by with that. And also, guys, I'll link my Tackle Warehouse link in the description to the slip sinker link. If you guys want to pick some slip sinkers up and use that link, it's a good deal to help out here. So anyway, hope that helps, and we'll talk later. See you guys.